Okay, today we are doing a review of the New Balance Fresh Foam More, because if the Fresh Foam X is so good, more's gotta be better. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. Like I said, we're going to be doing a review of the New Balance Fresh Foam More version 2, because it has a Fresh Foam X in it. And before we get started, never mind the dress shirt, it just happens to be a work day today. And since I'm wearing a dress shirt, please subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll ask you to do it on every video anyway. But hopefully you'll find this video today very informational, because this is a very good shoe. This shoe was used on my 50-mile run 2 weeks ago, something like that. Yeah, 50 miles on the road, so no trails. And this is the only shoe I wore. He's a big boy, he's fat-waisted, but he doesn't weigh a whole lot. So let's get into some of the specifications of the shoe. Yes, 9.9 ounces. All this. We'll talk about all this in 9.9 ounces in a men's size 9. I believe I'll tell you what it is in grams down below. And this shoe has a great drop. It's a 4mm drop. So that's the difference in the thickness from the heel to the forefoot. So it's a 34 and 30. So it's very thick sole. It's for a lot of impact. And it's full of Fresh Foam X. This is the original version of the New Balance Fresh Foam More. Had the initial Fresh Foam, which was not nearly as plush and as forgiving as the Fresh Foam X, which is what this has. So let's go talk about this shoe from bottom to top, and then I'll talk about some of the issues I had with this shoe on my 50-mile run. And then I ran it again today for the first time in a week or so, and tell you what I experienced again today. So outsole is pretty nice. Well, I'm gonna say it's rubber on the outsole. Just one little area that has exposed foam, but the rest of it has rubber. So which should make it more durable. But we'll talk about some issues with that in a second. Then of course our awesome midsole here with the beautiful Fresh Foam X. We'll talk about an issue with that as well, because more is not always more, as I am learning. And then going to the upper is pretty nice. Plenty of volume here, all kinds of width to it. I also buy the wide New Balance. This is one of the key features about New Balance, is if you have wide feet, you can easily get almost all the shoes in a wide. So D is the normal size. These are E's or double E, whatever the next width is. So with New Balance, this is the important thing to know. With New Balance, when they give you a wide shoe, they widen the forefoot area. So if you want a little bit more room for your toes display, get a little bit wider shoe. I like having more room for my toes display a little bit, and so I went with the wide, even though my mid part of my foot is very narrow. So the upper is a knit upper. It's very soft and forgiving. It's got a couple of overlays here with the New Balance overlay here on the medial side, on the outer side as well. It also has a nice little contour area where the midsole comes up and provides a little more support for your heel. Talk about the heel. The heel counter is very rigid. Like, I'm trying to push on it. It's very rigid. And it has this is a new thing with a lot of shoes now, with this flared heel area, so you don't get a lot of abrasion against your Achilles tendon here. So this is actually very nice and comfortable. Standard lacing system. So we have a standard lacing system here, and a semi-gusseted tongue. So the tongue is somewhat integrated into the shoe, which you would think would be fantastic, but I do have an issue with the tongue, and we'll talk about that. Standard lacing system, like I said, symmetrical. And his tongue has some padding in it. So it's not a totally thin tongue. It's not a totally padded tongue. It's a moderately padded tongue area here. And then the heel counter has actually some areas inside here. You can see where it sticks out. These little bump outs actually help hold your heel into place and provide some motion control for your foot while you're running. So these feel kind of rough to me by hand, but with when you wear socks, I had no issues over 50 miles running in these shoes with these little bump outs to help hold your heel into place. And there's plenty of eye holes here for your laces, so you can do the runner's knot if you prefer. And standard laces, they didn't have any problem with the laces because I double knot my shoes all the time. And like I said, it's a knit upper, and I found it to be very breathable and very nice. No issues with that. Oh, and a removable sock liner. So this is so New Balance makes a couple different kinds of sock liners, the insole here, and this is a very nice and thick insole. So yeah, so that's some of the specifications on the shoe. Now let's talk about some of the issues I had with this shoe and my running experience in these shoes. Okay, so let's talk about some of the issues I had with this shoe and my impressions with this shoe. First of all, this is a neutral shoe. So there is, in the medial side, there's no medial bridge, there's no different kind of foam. If you're an overpronator or underpronator or supinator, it may be an issue. However, if you do like the twist test, it is a very stiff shoe. It's not going to bend us too much. So it does provide some support without having like a medial bridge or any other kind of motion control in there. The heel counter is also relatively stiff as well, like I said. So it does help with keeping your foot into place, especially with the midsole coming up and providing a little bit of a bed for your heel to sit in. So that is pretty good here. Issues. All right, so start with the outsole area. Looking at the bottom of the shoe here, I'm not sure you can see from the camera angles, but I only have 70 miles total on this shoe. I think less than 70 miles total on this shoe. And the rubber outsole here is already breaking down. I noticed it after my 50-mile run, where I had a total of like 60 miles on the shoe. And I already noticed the forefoot area is breaking down, trying to show it better. But just if you can't see it, just take my word for it. And the heel area, because I do heel strike, especially when I'm really tired, is also, let me get close there, is also breaking down substantially after only 70 miles. So with the extra foam here for longevity and extra comfort, that'll last a while, but the outsole may not last, the 300 and 400 miles they want it to last. So definitely a durability issue on the outsole that I noticed here. So moving to the midsole, well, let's talk about the shape of the shoe. The shoe doesn't have a whole lot of rocker to it, so it does feel a little clunky, especially with this kind of, all this material here. It feels a little bit clunky while running, so this is not a fast shoe at all, even though it's 9.9 ounces. This is not like promoting you to run fast. This is not like a Hoka where it has the early stage meta rocker or any kind of plate or anything like that to help propel you forward. It is a recovery day, long distance day shoe. So don't be expecting to go too fast in this, even though it is only 9.9 ounces for a men's size 9. That would be 8.8 ounces for women's size 8, I believe. But anyway, but I did not buy these shoes with anticipation of going fast. I wanted to go far. I wanted to go 50 miles. And that's exactly what I did. Going to the Fresh Foam X, I've experienced the original Fresh Foam that came out in the Beacon version 1, and I did not like it at all. I thought it was terrible. I bought the New Balance 1080 version 5, whatever the latest version is, and that was a fantastic shoe, and I will do a review on that. It did not have the thickness of the midsole that I was looking for, and I decided not to use that for my long distance shoe. That's my middle distance shoe. It felt great up to 10 or 15 miles, but I wanted something that was actually a little more protection. So what I'm trying to say here is more midsole does not mean more squishy. So just because there's more of it doesn't mean it's going to be more plush. It's more protection. So what I'm saying there is, like with the New Balance 1080 that has the same material, I was able to feel more of the cracks and stones and that kind of thing in that shoe versus this shoe. So this shoe has more protection from rocks and cracks and that kind of thing, but does not make it more plush. So what this extra material in this shoe does is makes it more protective for you, and also makes it a stiffer shoe for running. So the flexibility in this shoe is limited. It's kind of tough to flex this shoe. So if you're looking for a very flexible shoe, if you're looking for a lot of road feel, obviously this is not going to be the shoe for you. You want the 1080 or something else that's even has less of a profile to it for the Fresh Foam. So this is a very stiff shoe. In this direction is a very stiff shoe. In this direction, it is soft, but not more soft, even though it says Fresh Foam more. It's not more soft than, say, the New Balance 1080. So that's what I want to say about the midsole of that shoe in a whole lot of words. But that's not my biggest issue. My biggest issue comes into the upper. Yes, the upper is roomy, is voluminous, it's soft. I like the upper. The heel, even though I thought it was going to be abrasive because it's kind of rough, was beautiful. No problems with the heel counter. No problems with the laces. My problem comes with the tongue of this shoe. So what am I trying to say here with the tongue of the shoe? This, like I mentioned before, the tongue is somewhat integrated into the shoe. So it's kind of gusseted it a little bit. It's hard to see, but what I'm trying to say here is the tongue is actually sewn into the upper of the shoe. Not just at the bottom, not just here, but along here. It's also integrated into the shoe, which you would think would be great. My issue is also the tongue is somewhat padded, like I mentioned. However, two things happen. If you use the runner's knot, which means you're using the eyes up here to tie your shoes to get more of a lockdown in your heel, it actually binds the top of my foot. So I feel pain on the top of my foot from the laces through the tongue as I'm running, and it doesn't happen over 50 miles. It doesn't happen after 40 miles. It happens after 4 miles if I tie my shoe. So I can't tie my shoe too tight to get a good heel lockdown because the tongue does not provide enough protection from the laces and my foot, and I get a binding feeling in the laces here. In addition to that, the tongue, a lot of shoes have a tongue that has a little loop here to lace your shoes through. So like these shoes here have a little loop where your laces actually go in there. And the purpose for that little loop there with your laces through it is to hold the tongue in place. Well, this shoe, the New Balance Fresh Foam More, doesn't have that at all. So the tongue is free to flop around. It's free to travel down your foot. So what happens is that's exactly what happens is the tongue actually travels down your foot, and now you're lace on ankle or lace on top of foot, and it's very uncomfortable, especially after many miles and many hours of running. So big drawback here. I cannot believe New Balance left out the little loop here to thread your laces through to keep the tongue in place. I guess they assumed that since it's partly integrated with the shoe, that wasn't going to go anywhere. Wrong. It goes somewhere. So big no-no here. I just ran with this shoe again this morning, did 4 miles, nice and easy, and my foot was hurting because my laces were binding on the top of my foot and causing pain to the top of my foot, and can actually cause some nerve damage and tendon damage there, which I'm experiencing right now as well. So big problem with that right there. And that's really the only issue. This shoe felt great for 50 miles. I believe the upper to be pretty durable. I think that the upper is not going to be an issue. The outsole is going to be an issue. I think it's going to wear down pretty fast. I think it's going to wear down faster than the compression of the midsole material. So usually that's when you tell your shoes are gone, is the midsole material starts to compress and the outsole is okay. In this case, the outsole is going to disintegrate before anything else occurs. So anyway, my overall experience in this shoe was positive for 50 miles. I felt adequate protection while running on the roads. I didn't feel all the stones. I didn't feel cracks. I didn't feel anything like that from the shoe. It felt comfortable the whole time. I did feel, as far as my landing, I felt like I had adequate transition from heel to forefoot when I was running. Not the best. It is a little clunky, but I was running very slow, so I wasn't trying to be terribly efficient or fast, so it worked out fine for that situation. And my only issue that I had was definitely with the upper, with the shoelace tongue combination. That was really starting to affect me, and that was really irritating me after I would say like 35, 40 miles. It was really getting uncomfortable. I had to retie my shoe. I couldn't do the runner's knot. That's why you don't see it on here, because it was really causing problems to the top of my foot. So anyway, that's it for the shoe. I don't think I missed anything else. I'm going to continue running in this shoe as my recovery shoe, and some long runs as well. I just got to be able to deal with the tongue issue here. And I don't really anticipate these shoes sticking around much more than maybe 200 miles, because I think the outsole is going to be pretty much worn out to nothing. Anyway, hope you liked the video. Hope you found it informational. Leave a big thumbs up on the video. Leave a comment down below. What is your, I think I might have asked this before, what is your long distance day run shoe? Not race shoe, but training shoe for long distance running. Leave a comment down below. I'd like to know. I'm trying to find the perfect long distance shoe. And so I'm still in the hunt for that. I have some ideas though. Hoka, I'm looking at you. Anyway, yeah, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Until next time, peace.